Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, thank you for keeping me company. I wasn't expecting it. I hope you don't mind. I brought my journal. Yeah, I keep a journal. I write down all my things. Some things in here I haven't told anyone. But some of these things I'd like to share with you. Is that okay? You mean it? Okay. Thanks. Well, one of the things I have done in my journaling is starting in 2019, I kept a dream journal. Well, that's a journal where you write down your dreams. Well, since you may or may not have heard of it, I'll show you. Let's see if I can find the page. Did I start in January? Nope. I started in February. Here it is. Gonna get a pencil and mark it. It's a thick lead pencil. Okay, now I have my dates. I kept this dream journal for almost 2 years. Yeah. No, I don't do it anymore. Maybe I should. But I began on the 1st of February. Let's see what I was doing that day. Yes. Yeah, I did. I kept a log of everything I did, major events. The beginning of February, I had traveled out of town. On February 1st, I checked out of my hotel that I was staying at in California for business. And I got on an airplane and flew to Jacksonville, Florida. So I had been on the road quite a bit. After I was on the highway, I had to fly an airplane for several hours from one side of the country all the way to the other. Then I had to drive to my hotel, check in. Had to get some work done. And then when I went to sleep, I was exhausted. And the evening of February 1st, when I woke up February 2nd, and throughout the night, I wrote down my dreams. And this is what my dream log says. Let me put my pencil up. Frozen fog. Highway traffic. View across the lake at night on docks. Spools of money. Some fake color-changing shoes. Struggling firsts. Strong coffee. And that's what I wrote. What does it mean? I remember this very distinctly. These were just the notes to remind me of what occurred. First, the frozen fog and the highway. I had just come back from California, although, admittedly, California isn't famous for being extremely cold in the southern end of the state, which is where I was. But it was February, and I drove up into the mountains, went on a hike in Yosemite National Forest, and camped. And In the morning, when I woke, the air was frozen. The dew on the plants were frost. The fog was heavy in the air, and although I could hear the water slowly and steadily moving about 100 yards away, the air was frozen where I was. And it was quite cold, mostly because it was humid. But it began to warm up quite a bit. But as I climbed to the altitude, there began to be snow on the ground. The higher I hiked, the more snow there was, until I could not proceed any further. The snow was up to my knees. I was just amazed at how just a few miles away it was very hot because it was the middle of the day. But up where I was, it was very cold. Not so cold that I wasn't able to stand it. It was cold just right, and the snow was frozen, and my legs went deep into the snow. But realizing that I could not continue my hike because the higher I climbed, I was not going to find a suitable place to set up my tent. So I turned around and hiked back down. At the bottom of that hike, I took a beautiful photo. It's the photo that you see in the header of this podcast and on my website and on my Twitter. And so, driving every morning in Southern California had the thickest fog in February. And that's what that was about. Highway traffic. Well, that was my memory of being in the traffic and on the road for quite a long time. The view across the lake at night on the docks. Now, this is a different dream. The view across the lake at night on the docks. This was a place where I was on docks late at night. There was no fog. It was completely clear. There were lamps on the docks where I was, illuminating the path. And people could see me from far away, and I could see them. And they thought I was doing something that I wasn't doing. They thought I was something that I wasn't. There was a room there on the docks with no roof, just some walls, windows with no glass. Almost as if it was an abandoned ruin of a structure that was no longer there except for the walls. I tried to hide from them, from behind the walls, but they could still see me because the walls were not good enough. I believe this represents my dissatisfaction with the way people look at me and judge me. What they think I am is not who I am, unless they're close enough and they really take the time to understand. But in the dream, they didn't. In the dream, they were far away. That's just like you, isn't it? If people think something about you that's not accurate, that's their problem. They don't know you. And that's fine. It can hurt when someone says things about you that's not true. But I'm glad that I know my intentions and I know the things I do. And I'm okay with that. Thank you for being here and listening to me. The next bit of the dream was a transition into another dream, but still part of the last. It was about spools of money. Spools of money that were assumed to be mine, but that I knew were not, and I wouldn't accept it, because I didn't earn it. It makes me wonder if I were to find some money now, and someone were to say, this is yours, would I, as I did in my dream, would I say, no, it doesn't belong to me, I didn't earn it, or would I just take it? Often we don't know what we'll do until we're in this situation. The next was some fake color-changing shoes. This does seem kind of silly, but it goes to the same theme of someone believing something about you that's not true, or maybe one's appearance that gives someone else the impression that I am not something that they think I am. So maybe I'm worried about the way I look. I know I shouldn't be. Neither should you. If you feel that way, that's fine. But just know that the way you are is just fine. The way you are is good. Regardless of what people think about you, you're good. You are loved. You are valid. You are worthy of love. Next is struggling firsts. That has to do with my work. Yeah, I'm struggling to achieve success at my job. But do I have to struggle? Doesn't that make me unhappy? What am I struggling for? What are you struggling for? That's a valid feeling. That can be painful. But there are people that acknowledge your efforts and your intentions. Maybe I should remind myself. The next is strong coffee. I need strong coffee to stay awake. Sometimes coffee doesn't keep me awake. But it's nice to have a warm cup of coffee on a cold February night. That morning, I did have a strong cup of coffee after having that dream. And as I began the day, I held my warm cup in my hands. I closed my eyes and was cozy for a moment of peace. Quite relaxing. That's the first night of dreams. The first night that I recorded. going to write down that I have completed the reading of this dream. I haven't told anyone this dream or any of these. Maybe a couple, but this one is good. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. Good. So, that's it. Thank you for spending time with me. I'm really glad you're here. Thank you for letting me read my journal. Oh, this next dream. Where did it go? Oh, it's so close. Where is it? January. Okay, February. Oh, the next dream. Oh, the next dream is... Oh, a lot happens. I'll save this one for next time. Can we do that? Oh man. I think you're gonna like it. Again, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate it.